The night my parents chose money over me. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. Miss Hart, we need you to come in today about the notarized deed in your name. I'm in the break room at the bus depot, uniform still damp from sleet, staring at the caller ID, Rivergate Credit Union. My hands shake so hard my badge clicks against the table. I've never owned property. I rent a one-bedroom above a laundromat. I read every contract twice because nobody's bailing me out if I mess up. Are you sure you have the right Tessa Hart? I ask. The woman, polite and trained, doesn't hesitate. Social ends in 4-8-2-9, correct? The deed was recorded April 12, 2023. It's tied to a home equity line opened 2 weeks later. My stomach drops. April 12, 2023 is the day my mother posted a photo of our family garden and texted me, "Don't forget to like it." I didn't open anything. I say, I didn't sign a deed. Dana lowers her voice. We flagged the signature, but the notary stamp matches. The line is past due. Collection action starts Friday. Friday, 3 days. If a lender marks me delinquent, my license renewal is dead. My job is my rent is my life. I hang up and open the credit monitoring app one pay for because adulthood is buying alarms for disasters you didn't cause. There it is. New account. Rivergate CU. $68,500 Helic. Under addresses. My parents' house in Maple Glen appears like a ghost. My mother calls before I can breathe. "Hi, baby," Gloria says bright. "Don't panic. Your dad and I just need you to sign something real quick." I swallow. Why is your house on my credit report? A beat. In the background, my father's voice is low and irritated. Tell her we'll explain tonight. Gloria's brightness turns sharp. Tessa, please. Just come over. We can handle this as a family. The last time they said as a family, I ended up on a couch with my backpack as a pillow. I look at my hands, ink-stained from counting fares, and realize I'm finally holding a choice, not just a consequence. Tonight, I drive to Maple Glen with my phone recording already on. If you'd met my parents at church or a block party, you'd think they were steady, generous people. Gloria hugged too long. Stan shook hands like he was closing deals, and our house always smelled like lemon cleaner, and we've got it together. Inside, money was the real religion. Stan kept a whiteboard in the kitchen labeled household goals. Mortgage, car note, Brent's activities, Gloria's networking. If my shoes wore out, I got a lecture about planning. If Brent wanted new cleats, it became an investment. Brent has potential, Gloria would say, smoothing his hair like he was a prize. You're the responsible one, Tess. You understand sacrifice. Sacrifice was my job title. At 16, I worked weekends at a grocery store. The first time I handed Stan my pay stub, he smiled like I'd proven his point. See, you can take care of yourself. Then he started borrowing 20 here, 50 there, always with a crisp promise. I'll pay you back Friday. Friday rarely came. Brent broke a neighbor's window with a baseball, and somehow I was the one apologizing. Brent wrecked a used car at 19, and my parents called it bad luck. I got a parking ticket once, and Gloria cried about how it looks. They weren't monsters. That's what messes with your head. They cooked dinners, asked about my routes, posted my birthday photos. But affection was a switch they flipped depending on what I cost them. When I left for community college, Stan decided my education was optional. "Why take loans?" he said, tapping the whiteboard. "You're good with people. You'll find work." So I did. I got certified. I drove buses. I paid rent. I built a life that didn't require their approval. Meanwhile, Brent drifted. Real estate class, personal training, crypto, and my parents kept floating him. If I said no to helping, Gloria's smile went sharp. "You're lucky," she told me once, after I refused to co-sign for Brent. "You don't need us." That sentence landed like a door locking from the other side. I didn't know then they had already chosen money over me once. The first red flag didn't start with a deed. It started with a voicemail I almost deleted. "Calling for Tessa Hart regarding an urgent matter. Please return our call." No company name, just a number and a tone like someone owed them oxygen. I called back on my lunch break outside the depot. A man answered like he'd been waiting. "Miss Hart, this is Pinnacle Recovery. We're following up on your Rivergate account." "My what?" He read an amount, $1,942. 17 past due, and an address I hadn't lived at in 10 years. My parents' house. I don't have an account with Rivergate, I said. I've never had a loan. Ma'am, he replied, bored. Your file shows a home equity line opened May 1st, 2023. Notices were mailed. You've missed 3 payments. My checking balance was what it always was, small, honest, exhausted. No mystery payments. No helic. That night, I drove to Maple Glen because denial is easier when it has a driveway. Gloria greeted me like she'd rehearsed being relaxed. Stan stayed on the couch. Brent's newer car was in the driveway, again. Oh, honey, Gloria said. Debt collectors call everybody. It's probably a scam. A scam with our address. I asked. Stan finally looked up. You worry too much. You always have. I replayed the voicemail. Pinnacle recovery. Rivergate. Dates. Gloria's smile held, but her eyes flicked to Stan like she was checking his cues. Brent wandered in. What's this about? Nothing, Gloria snapped. Go upstairs. When he left, Stan turned it into a lecture. This is why you shouldn't obsess over alerts. You'll make yourself sick. They'd trained me my whole life to doubt my own instincts, so I tried one small test. Let me see the mail from Rivergate. Gloria laughed. We throw junk mail away, Tess. Stan stood up, slow. Drop it, Tessa. Not loud. Just final. And in that one word, I heard the same warning I'd heard years ago, right before everything changed. On my drive home, my phone buzzed with a credit alert I couldn't explain. Stan's drop it drags me back to the night I stopped believing my parents' promises. October 18th, 2012. Rain hammering the windows. I'm 18, sitting at the kitchen table with my wrist in a brace and my knee wrapped tight. 2 weeks earlier, a delivery van clipped me in the crosswalk outside Stan's job site. I'd spent hours in the ER, then days limping around our house like a liability. On the table sat a thick packet with a sticky note. Confidential settlement agreement and release. The first page had my name in bold. Tessa Marie Hart, claimant. There's a lawyer, right? I asked. Shouldn't I have my own? We have counsel, Stan said, staring at the paperwork instead of me. This is standard. Gloria slid a pen toward me. Cascade Indemnity is offering $147,500. They'll cover the bills, and we'll set up the rest for your future. I turned pages through pain meds and dread. The language was a maze of hereby and in consideration of. One paragraph said I released all claims known or unknown forever. Another said I agreed not to disclose the terms or disparage the company. So I can't even talk about what happened? I asked. Stan's jaw tightened. They don't want bad press. It's business. I was hit by their van, I said. My knee still. We can't afford a fight, Gloria snapped, and then softened instantly. If you don't sign, they'll drag it out. We'll drown in bills. We. Not me. A man sat at the end of the table, quiet, watching. Gloria said, he's a notary. He opened a small case and set down a stamp. The thud made my stomach drop. Gloria tapped the margins. Initial here, here, and here. Then sign. I looked at my father. Promise me this goes to college. For a second I saw guilt in Stan's eyes. Then it flattened into something colder. Tessa, we're doing what's best for the family. That was the moment I realized my pain was negotiable, but their reputation wasn't. I signed, and the stamp came down like a verdict I couldn't appeal. After that night, the story in our house changed. The accident became a blessing. Gloria repeated it to anyone who would listen. Stan told people the company did the right thing. Nobody mentioned the release I signed or why my knee still buckled on stairs. I asked about college twice. The first time, Gloria said, we're organizing it. The second time, Stan got angry. Do you know what medical care costs? Therapy isn't cheap. But my bills were only. You don't know everything, Gloria snapped. Stop accusing us. Within months, I was too tense at home. My limp was dramatic. My questions were disrespectful. When I brought up the settlement again, Stan pointed at the front door. If you don't like how we run this house, you're an adult. So I became one overnight. I moved into a friend's spare room with a trash bag of clothes and a knee brace starting to fray. I stacked hours, got certified, and took a bus driver job because it was steady and nobody could take it away if I kept showing up. Brent's life got shinier. New golf clubs. A used Mustang Stan called a reward. Gloria hosted backyard dinners with new patio furniture and joked they were finally breathing. The only person who didn't pretend was Grandma Ruth. She lived 10 minutes away in a small house that smelled like coffee and old paper. When I visited, she asked about my knee, not my parents' upgrades. One Sunday, I finally said it. They promised the settlement would help me. I think it disappeared. Ruth didn't look surprised. She set down her mug so carefully it didn't clink. Your mother called it family money the same week it arrived. My throat tightened. You knew? I knew enough, Ruth said. And I know they don't like loose ends. What does that mean? Ruth leaned closer. If they ever put papers in front of you again, you don't sign a damn thing. I tried to laugh. Why would they need me to sign anything now? Ruth's eyes stayed on mine, steady as a warning light. Because they already practiced on you once. Then she opened a drawer and slid me a folded envelope with my name on it. Grandma Ruth's envelope wasn't sentimental. It was evidence. Inside were three things: a photocopy of the settlement cover letter dated October 22, 2012, a check receipt, and the signature page of the release I'd signed. Ruth had underlined one line in thick blue ink: total settlement, $147,500. 00 payable to Stanley Hart and Gloria Hart, as guardians of Tessa Hart. My chest tightened. They told me it all went to bills. Ruth's mouth flattened. They told you what kept you quiet. On the signature page, next to my looping 18-year-old handwriting, sat the notary block, notary, commission #MG 019774. Expires June 30th, 2016. My skin prickled. The notary from that night. Same stamp, Ruth said. Same tricks. My pulse spiked. I went home and pulled my full credit reports, the ones I'd never bothered with because my life was simple. 2 addresses appeared, my apartment and Maple Glen. And under public records, a line that made my vision blur. Property record, warranty deed, April 12, 2023, Maple Glen, parcel 17-09-442. I didn't own a parcel. I owned a thrift store couch. Rivergate wouldn't email the file, so I took the next morning off and showed up with my ID. A loan officer slid a folder across a beige desk. Here's what we have on file. At the top was the deed copy, stamped and recorded. My name printed cleanly. Tessa Marie Hart, grantor. Under it was a signature that looked like mine if you squinted, like someone had traced it from memory. In the corner was the notary block. I leaned in until the letters sharpened. Commission #MG 019774. My mouth went dry. This commission wasn't active in 2023. The loan officer blinked. Is that a problem? I couldn't answer, because the pattern had just become a timeline. In the parking lot I sat in my car, rereading Ruth's underlines until my eyes stung. The folder listed the HELOC limit, $68,500, open May 1st, 2023. Outside, my phone lit up, Gloria calling, like she'd been watching me. The next 48 hours feel like running my route with my brain on fire. I drive the morning loop, smiling at riders while my stomach turns. On breaks, I become a detective. At the county records office, the clerk prints the deed history for parcel 17-09-442 like it's a parking ticket. The paper is still warm when she slides it over. Owner, Stanley Hart and Gloria Hart. Then, suddenly, Tessa Marie Hart listed as grantor and grantee on April 12, 2023, like I transferred the property to myself. 2 weeks later, Rivergate Credit Union, deed of trust /HELOC, $68,500. Recorded May 1st, 2023. How does someone transfer a house to themselves? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. The clerk shrugs. People do weird estate stuff. I buy copies of everything and walk out with a stack that could ruin me. In my car, I compare signatures. My real signature from my license renewal is clean and slanted. The deed signature is shaky, like someone copied it from a photo. But the notary block is crisp. Too crisp. Back at Rivergate, I ask who submitted the file. The loan officer flips through a log sheet. It was opened in person, he says. Your parents were here, Stan and Gloria Hart. They brought a power of attorney and a photocopy of your ID. A photocopy, I repeat. Not me. He gives me a look that says he believes me, but policy doesn't. Ruth's underlined commission number starts itching in my brain. I look up the notary listed on the deed. The phone number is disconnected. The address is a strip mall that now houses a nail salon. I call the state notary hotline and read them the commission number. The woman on the line doesn't hesitate. Commission MG 019774 expired June 30th, 2016. It is not active. So he couldn't notarize anything in 2023. Correct, she says, then adds. If you believe a seal was used improperly, file a complaint. Improperly. Like someone accidentally forged my life. My phone buzzes, this time a text from my father. Stan, don't do anything stupid. Come over tonight. We'll fix it. I type back. What did you do in my name? 3 dots. Then his reply lands. Stan, you already signed once. Don't make us regret trusting you. I don't sleep. I just rotate between documents like they're prayer beads. Rivergate gives me one more thing when I press. A transaction summary for the Helic. The first draw happens May 2nd, 2023, $65,000. Move the same day into an account ending in 1134. The account holder name printed at the top makes my jaw ache. Primary, Stanley Hart. Joint, Gloria Hart. So the loan is mine, but the money goes straight to them. The next page is worse. Line by line, my name funds their life. Maple Glen Motors, $18,420. 00. Silverline Debt Relief, $22,000. 00. Cashier's check, payable, Brent Hart, $9,800. 00. St. Cecilia Church, donation, $1,500. 00. Home Improvement Warehouse, for $1,112. 77. I can practically hear Gloria saying networking while my identity hemorrhages cash. I call Brent. He answers on the third ring, voice too cheerful. Hey Tess, did you get a cashier's check for $9,000 in May? I ask. Silence. Then a laugh that's too quick. Where are you getting this? Just answer. His breathing changes. Mom and Dad handled some stuff for me. It's not. Stuff in my name? My voice cracks. Brent, my job checks my credit. I can't lose my license. It was temporary, he says, suddenly defensive. I needed it. I had problems. What problems? I said they handled it. He snaps, and then, softer, like he's trying a different tactic. Look, don't freak out. They'll make it right. The phrase makes my skin crawl. Make it right. Like the settlement. Like my college. Like my knee. At the depot, my supervisor pulls me aside. Tessa, HR ran the routine background check for renewals. If anything pops, tell us early. Routine. Like ruin is normal paperwork. That night, Gloria texts a smiley face and a photo of her new kitchen backsplash. Under it, isn't it gorgeous? Your dad worked so hard. I stare at the tile pattern and feel like I'm looking at my own skin stretched over their walls. I'm still trying to breathe when an email from Pinnacle Recovery hits my inbox. Final notice before legal action. It lists the Helic account number and, under employer information, my bus company. They don't just want the money. They want to garnish it. That afternoon, my landlord taped a 3-day notice to my door. I spend the next day doing 2 things at once, surviving and building a case. I drive my routes like nothing's wrong, then come home and spread papers across my kitchen table until it looks like a crime show. Credit reports, deed copies, Rivergate's transaction summary, Pinnacle Recovery's emails, Ruth's old settlement pages with her blue underlines. I get a short consult with a legal aid attorney. He doesn't gasp or dramatize. He just asks, did you authorize any of this? No. Then you treat it like identity theft, he says. Document everything. Don't negotiate with collectors. Don't sign anything your parents bring. If they pressure you, get it in writing. In writing, not in guilt. I freeze my credit that night, fingers moving fast, heart racing. I screenshot every confirmation number like my life depends on it, because it does. Ruth comes over with a notebook and that blunt calm that makes you feel less crazy. I don't want to destroy them, I admit. But I can't let them destroy me. Ruth doesn't blink. They chose their side a long time ago, Tess. We make a timeline. October 22nd, 2012 settlement letter. April 12th, 2023 deed recorded. May 1st, 2023 Helic opened. May 2nd, 2023 $65,000 draw. December 15th, 2025 collections. The dates line up too cleanly to be an accident. The hardest part is forcing truth out of people who live on denial. Gloria bounces between don't panic and after all we've done. Stan sticks to one message. Come over. Fix it. Brent is the wild card. begging 1 minute, defensive the next. So I choose a plan that doesn't depend on their conscience. I text my parents, I'm coming tonight. Bring every document you used. We're meeting at Rivergate tomorrow. Gloria replies instantly, good. We'll talk like adults. Stan's reply follows, don't embarrass us. I don't answer. I just keep assembling my packet. Right before bed, I reread Ruth's 2012 cover letter. My eyes skim past the amount and land on a line she hadn't underlined. Vehicle operator, B. Hart. My breath catches because I know exactly who that initial belongs to. My parents insist we eat first, like food can soften fraud. Gloria sets the table with the good plates. Stan pours himself a drink. Brent sits at the far end, tapping his knee, not meeting my eyes. Gloria starts sweet. We're glad you came. This has gotten confusing. It got confusing when you opened a $68,500 line of credit in my name, I say. Stan's eyes narrow. Lower your voice. Brent mutters, Tess, I didn't want it like this. Then why is there a cashier's check to you? I ask. $9,800. He looks at Gloria. She gives him a warning look, like he's about to say the wrong thing. Gloria reaches for my hand. Sweetheart, we did what we had to do. Brent was in trouble. Your father and I were protecting the family. Stan slides a single page across the table. We can fix this tonight. Signed, and Rivergate will work with us. The header reads, Authorization and ratification of loan documents. My name is printed above a blank line. You want me to approve the forgery? I say. It's not a forgery, Stan snaps. It's paperwork. You're making it a crime. Gloria's eyes shine with practiced tears. If you don't sign, collectors will come after you. You'll lose your job. My stomach twists. This is their trick. Make the fire look like my fault for noticing it. I push the paper back. I'm not signing anything. Stan's voice drops. You froze your credit. We got notices. Don't play games. Brent finally breaks. I had debts, okay? Bad ones. Mom said you'd be fine. Gloria hisses, Brent. Stan leans in. Tessa, you signed once when it mattered. Don't act righteous now. My hand twitches toward the pen, the old reflex. Make it easier. Keep the peace. Take the hit. The front door opens. Grandma Ruth walks in without knocking. She looks at the paper, then at Stan's hand. Oh, she says. We're doing this again. Gloria stands, furious. Ruth, this is family business. Ruth doesn't look at her. She looks straight at Brent, voice steady. Ruth looked at Brent and said, Tell her who drove the van. I don't go to Maple Glen to talk. I go to set a trap with paperwork. That morning I call Rivergate and ask for a fraud specialist. When they try to reroute me, I say, the notary commission on your file expired years before the notarization date. I'm filing a report. I need an appointment for document verification. The tone changes. A supervisor schedules 2 p.m. and tells me to bring ID and supporting documents. I bring a binder thick enough to bruise. Then I text my parents, Rivergate. 2 o'clock. Bring Brent. Bring the POA you used. Gloria replies with a thumbs up, like we're coordinating brunch. Stan calls. This is unnecessary. It's necessary, I say. If you want it fixed, you show up. He exhales loud. Fine, but we're not doing a scene. Ruth insists on coming. You're not walking in alone, she says. They like to corner you. We arrive early. Rivergate's lobby is bright and friendly, with brochures about building your future. I sit under a poster that says trust and try not to throw up. My hands sweat through my gloves in my lap now. Gloria and Stan walk in 10 minutes late, dressed like they're headed to a fundraiser. Brent trails behind in a hoodie, eyes glassy. Gloria beams at the receptionist. We're here to help our daughter with a misunderstanding. Stan doesn't look at me. Let's get this over with. The supervisor leads us into a glass-walled conference room. A small camera sits in the corner. For once, there's a witness that doesn't care about family loyalty. She opens a folder and lays documents on the table. The deed, the Hellick disclosures, the power of attorney, the signature pages. Stan reaches for them like he owns them. I set my binder down. Before anyone talks, I say, verify the notary commission and the signer's identity. Gloria's smile tightens. Brent's knee starts bouncing. The supervisor slides the notarized page into the center and looks at my parents. Who, exactly, signed this in front of a notary? For a second, nobody answers the supervisor. Gloria's smile is too bright. Stan's jaw is locked. Brent stares at the table. Stan tries first. It's estate planning. We were helping her. The supervisor turns her laptop toward us. We verified the notary commission. MG 019774 expired June 30th, 2016. It was not active in 2023. That's impossible, Gloria says. It isn't, the supervisor replies. That makes the notarization invalid. She holds up that power of attorney. This is also notarized under the expired commission, and the signature does not match the signature Ms. Hart provided today. She places two samples side by side. Mine, clean and slanted. The POA, shaky, like someone copied it from a photo. She looks at me. Ms. Hart, did you sign this power of attorney? No. Did you appear before a notary on April 12th, 2023? No. Stan's hand slaps the table. We're her parents. That is not legal authorization. The supervisor says, still calm. Brent blurts. I told you this would blow up. Gloria whips toward him. Brent, stop talking. Ruth leans in. No. Tell the whole story. Tell them 2012. I pull Ruth's old settlement letter from my binder and slide it across. The supervisor reads the line I'd circled. Vehicle operator. B. Hart, she says slowly. Brent goes still. My throat tightens. It was you. Brent's voice is small. I was 16. Dad let me drive the van. I didn't mean to hit you. The room tilts. All those years I pictured a stranger behind the headlights. It was my brother. And my parents didn't choose my recovery or my future. They chose a payoff and silence. Stan straightens, defensive. We handled it. If it got out, our lives would have been over. Like hers almost was, Ruth says. Gloria's eyes flash. We kept a roof over your head. You took my settlement, I say, shaking. Then you used my name to save him again. The supervisor closes the folder. I'm placing an immediate fraud hold and notifying our investigations unit. Stan looks at me like I'm the criminal. So you're really doing this? The supervisor turns to me, voice professional and gentle. Would you like to file a police report from here? I say yes. Rivergate hands me a printed fraud packet and uses the conference room phone to call the non-emergency line. When the officer arrives, he takes my statement, dates, amounts, the deed, the expired notary commission, the power of attorney. Do you know who did this? He asks. I look at my parents through the glass wall. Gloria is crying the way she cries when she's losing control. Stan sits rigid, jaw set. Brent is pale, shaking. My parents, I say, and it tastes like ash. The officer gives me a case number. Rivergate prints a letter confirming the helic is frozen and under investigation. Pinnacle Recovery, once they receive the fraud notice, has to stop calling me, at least on paper. And then the fallout turns personal. Gloria calls me until my phone heats up. When I don't answer, she leaves messages that start soft and end sharp. Baby, please. We can fix this. Do you know what people will think? Stan doesn't call. Stan texts. Stan, you have no idea what you just started. Stan, if your job hears about this, don't come crying. Brent sends one message at 2:13 a.m. I'm sorry. Then another a minute later. But you didn't have to go nuclear. At work, my supervisor asks me into the office. HR got a wage garnishment inquiry, she says carefully. Are you okay? I tell her the truth in the smallest pieces I can. Identity theft. Fraud hold. Police report. She watches my face like she's deciding whether I'm a risk. I go back to my route and feel every rider's glance like a spotlight. My hands grip the wheel until my knuckles ache. When I clock out, I sit in my bus and cry until my chest stops spasming. By dinner, distant relatives I barely talk to start texting, "What's going on?" Gloria's version is already moving. That night Ruth makes me eat toast and says, "Doing right still hurts." I'm still holding that sentence when my phone buzzes with a voicemail from Stan. His first words are calm, almost polite, which makes my stomach drop. You're going to regret this, Tessa, and I'll make sure of it. Once the adrenaline fades, all that's left is paperwork and grief. I spend my next days off doing the unglamorous parts of survival. I file an identity theft report online and print the affidavit. I send dispute letters to the credit bureaus by certified mail, stapling copies of the police report and Rivergate's fraud hold letter. I call Pinnacle Recovery and repeat one sentence until it sticks. This is fraud. Here is the case number. The collector's tone changes the moment I say police report, like I've finally spoken the language they respect. HR clears me to keep driving as long as I keep them updated. My supervisor tells me, I'm sorry, and I have to turn my face away because kindness hits harder than threats. Ruth helps me build a new routine. We check my credit weekly and log every change. We document every call. We save every voicemail. I change passwords, add two-factor authentication, lock down my social security account, and open a P.O. box. Then I do the part nobody sees. I start therapy. The therapist doesn't tell me to forgive. She tells me to name what happened: coercion, theft, betrayal. She tells me my parents trained me to confuse peace with safety. That word, safety, keeps echoing. I realize I've been living like I have to earn it. I set boundaries that look cold on the outside, but feel like oxygen on the inside. I block Gloria's number. I mute Stan's texts. I send one email, short and clinical. Do not contact me except in writing regarding the investigation and restitution. Any settlement must be in writing. Brent emails me once. Can we talk? I answer, only in writing. I'm not covering consequences anymore. Ruth reads it over my shoulder and nods. Good. Make them meet you on paper, not on guilt. Weeks later, Rivergate confirms the delinquency is removed from my file while the investigation continues. My landlord withdraws the 3-day notice once I show proof the garnishment threat is tied to fraud. I can breathe again, but breathing doesn't erase what I know. One afternoon, a plain envelope arrives at my P.O. box. No logo, just my name in black ink. Inside is a letter requesting my presence as a victim witness in a fraud case. Under suspects, my parents' names sit in print like a verdict. I used to think betrayal had to look evil to count, but my parents didn't twirl mustaches. They made casseroles. They posted Christmas photos. They used soft words, family, sacrifice, protection, to wrap hard decisions. The betrayal was quieter. A pen slid across a table, a notary stamp, a lie repeated until I doubted my own memory. When I finally saw the timeline in black ink, I stopped asking, why would they do this to me? And started asking, why am I the one expected to carry it? The answer was simple and ugly, because I always had. The fraud case is still moving, and I'm not going to pretend it's clean. Some days I'm furious. Some days I miss the version of my mother I thought existed. Some days my knee aches, and I remember Brent's headlights, and my stomach turns all over again. But my life is mine in a way it never was before. I drive my routes. I pay my rent. I'm saving for an apartment with sunlight. I laugh with coworkers again. Ruth and I have Sunday coffee like a ritual, and I'm learning that peace isn't something you negotiate for. It's something you build and defend. If you're watching this because your family is using money to control you, here's what I wish someone had told me sooner. Pull your full credit reports, not just an app score. Freeze your credit. Keep a folder, screenshots, letters, dates, names. Don't sign fix-it paperwork that makes you responsible for their mess. If collectors call, ask for everything in writing and use case numbers. And if you can, talk to someone outside the system, legal aid, a therapist, a trusted elder, because isolation is how this stuff survives. Most of all, love that costs your dignity isn't love. It's leverage. Gloria still sends messages from burner numbers. Stan still acts like consequences are something happening to him. Brent's last email said, I hope you're happy. I didn't reply, because happiness isn't my goal anymore. Safety is.